work.
I know. I may be talking a lot, but I'm not asking very many questions. They're all wrong around. Oh, how do I make a bigger impact with what I do? Make a splash.
How do you make a bigger impact?
Well, I think this is about reaching more people. So if you want to have a bigger impact, you've got to touch more people with what you're doing.
Yeah.
Can I just disagree with you there?
Go ahead.
I think that you can. I think that it's not at all about that. I think it's about. It's more important to make 10% of people love you than 100% of people notice you. I think impact is about connecting in the right way with people. That you can like go and say, "Hey, everybody here, I'm a copywriter," or I can say, "Hey, everybody here, I'm a copywriter who will give you 10 times more inquiries from your website and improve your ROI by 1,000% if you work in the finance industry."
Yeah, I think we're seeing impact as two ends of the same thing. So I'm assuming you've already got something of value,
Yeah.
and you're trying to build that further by impacting more people. Obviously, you can have a one-to-one impact that can be absolutely, so from that point of view, it's the uplift that you give to one person, so you've had a massive impact on that individual. I think both of them are equally valid.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'd say as far as getting the message out, once you know you've got something, getting it in front of more people, it's finding the routes that are going to, where they'll find you, so you don't have to do so much of the running. And I'm going to throw books in here, so we help our authors get more impact by being on Amazon, which is a search engine where people are looking for books, they're looking to pay for content. And we found that double whammy of them, they're an authority, but also they're in front of more people.
So then you can increase your reach.
You can increase your reach, you can
have more of
increase
a
your
wider
fees.
impact on
them. But you wouldn't have, exactly as Kieran was saying, the book doesn't do the job of the full intervention on that one-to-one impact with the client. That's why it works for businesses, because they go, the book's interesting, I like the look of this, this can have make a difference for me. I now want to work more closely with you to get that really big uplift.
And also, so you've got the content.
Yeah.
How can I create the content that makes an impact for people?
Mm-hmm.
And how can I reach more people with that content so I can make a bigger impact? So you're impacting double whammy. You're impacting the individual and you're impacting, potentially, creating shifts depending on what industry you're in.
So in terms of a message, a simple formula for creating more impact would be, first of all, to come out with the result that you achieve, and then to challenge people to why they aren't getting that result. So so if I was going to do about website conversion, so if my average website conversion was 10% through my copy and through my partners, then I would say to people, are you still happy with 5% conversion from your website? You know, what would it mean for you if you doubled your conversion? Why haven't you doubled your conversion today? And by challenging people to make people think and want a better reality or a better service for them, that you create a lot of impact, because it's a question that drives straight to the heart of their business.
Yeah, it cuts through everything else. I like that.
And so that's a really simple way to do it, is to challenge people. And often in marketing, we are super afraid to challenge people. We want a headline that is going to suit everybody and doesn't upset the apple cart, and we feel it's too aggressive or it's too pushy or it's too, but actually anybody who values their business, and increasingly so actually, what do they call it?
Pass and interrupt.
They call it, and they also call it sellucation. So people actually there's different styles of selling, and we go through all these different styles, and they say that the current modality for selling is for me to sit there and I'll tell you what I'm doing and you'll tell me why it's wrong. And that's how people want to be sold to now. So that I'll come in and I'll say, look, we're doing this, and this. You're the expert. Where's your ideas? So you have to come in, you have to kind of almost like show your hand a bit as to where your ideas are. So rather than kind of showing your hand outright, you can just challenge people. You can just say, what kind of, what's your average order value at the minute? What's this? Talk in terms of the business metrics. How much are you turning over per month? However it is, How many people is your social media campaign reaching? How many likes are you getting per post?
That's the classic with social media, isn't it?
Yeah.
How many conversions are you getting from that Facebook advert?
Yeah.
I don't know. Why don't you know?
Yeah.
Have you got a pixel set up? No. And recently there was a guy sharing some stuff about the different way you can set pixels up with just a tiny tweak on the code, which gives you massive more metrics. Google Analytics, little things where you can really properly check exactly what is happening because of what.
Yeah.
So it's a nice example to say why are you, because people don't know, do they? And then you've got a lead in there, haven't you?
Well, yeah, and so why aren't you even studying these things? And so people, I think, increasingly people want to be challenged and want to be put on the back foot. And I think that you shouldn't have any fear if you're in business of saying, why aren't you asking for more and why aren't you asking for better? Because if you let the clients run everything, and the temptation is always to let the clients run everything, especially with what we do, because let's face it, when you work in marketing, everybody is a designer, a copywriter, a website builder, a book writer, and everybody comes to you with these ideas, and they're like, oh, we don't really want this like this, and we don't really like that message, and I hear it all the time. And sometimes you even think with some really strict clients, it's like, why did you even bother hiring me? I've written all this copy, and you want this headline and this headline. And I think you've got to really be divisive with people from the start and say, no, I'm the expert, and you need to challenge.
Well,
you need to
leadership, isn't it?
You need
really?
to show the need to show the customer. But often you're dealing with type A personalities who want to be right, who want to tell you how their business is and how their business is sold. And
but again, that's making an impact on that business, isn't it? Yeah. When you create powerful copy that sells and they get conversions, that's a big impact that you're making on that.
Absolutely, absolutely. But personally, I think that as Joe said, it's about reaching more of an audience, but reaching them with the right message.
Yeah.
And the right message has to be one that, like, especially online now, that literally grabs you within the first 8 seconds and shakes you about and says, why aren't you doing stuff? Because going back to something I said earlier, 70% of people want to buy, but only 3% want to buy now. So if you put a bland message in front of everybody that's got no drive to it and no urge to do it and no kind of let's do it now to it, then you've missed everybody. But if you put the right message in front of those 3 people, and those 3 people all said, I want to buy a website, I want to buy a social media campaign, I want to do a book, I want to do, you know, a brochure's worth of copy with you, well, how much difference would that make? Well, for me, that would be like £7,000 or £8,000.
It's scary though, isn't it? I think it feels less scary to be vague, because it feels like it's less of a risk.
You won't miss anything.
Actually, because you think, well, at least, you know, I'll be attractive to more people. But it is an oxymoron, isn't it? That you actually, it's the wrong way to think about it.
Yeah, and would you rather be loved by 5 or just, you know, blanded out by 100?
That's what it comes down to, again, knowing what your niche is, who your dreamy clients are, like on your ideal clients, so that you're really clear on that message straight away. So then when you are doing the headlines, you're actually capturing the right people, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so message impact is one kind of impact. Impact in scale is one kind of impact.
Yeah.
But scale absolutely doesn't work if the message is wrong. It's kind of like based like, you know, you can scale something that's a terrible ad. People can't even give stuff away for free. I mean, that's how, you know, people, you know, loads of businesses are spending time trying to give away their free stuff, and I'm not even interested in.
Well, no, why would anyone be interested in anything that you don't give any value?
Yeah.
So if you don't give it any value, why would anyone else?
We're always talking about that, aren't we?
Yeah, and so it's...
That's a shift as well, because it's so hard. I think we're inundated at the moment with just free stuff. You've got to do all this free content. But actually, do you really need to do that much free content to make an impact on people? Is that where you're best placed to position yourself? I mean, you're obviously all about visibility. So
I think for that kind of thing, your group's a really good way of doing free, because you can share your message, people get to know, like, and trust you, build all that engagement with you, and then that can really lead into paying clients. That can be one way of really doing it well.
But you're also making an impact.
You are making an impact, yeah. And you know, I'll have people in there who aren't necessarily clients, but then they'll go off and say, well, because I've been in this group, I've gone off and done X, Y, Z. So you're still having an impact, and they haven't necessarily worked with you, but then you'll have the other people who will work with you and at the high end as well.
And then it's a bigger impact.
Yeah.
So just to ask you something, Sophie, what do you think, do you think there's a way that you can scale it back so that when we start looking at like these extrinsic things that you put outside yourself, is there something that you could do inside yourself? Is there some way that you can start viewing yourself in your business to have more impact? Some sort of intrinsic shift in your own belief and your own perception of yourself.
If you have low confidence in what, there's a lot of people out there in business. I certainly see it because I work with a lot with women in business, and you certainly see it there that there's women and people who are very passionate about what they do. They really want to genuinely help people, but they are not very confident in getting that out there. And I think that's a massive stumbling block. You get that a lot actually with your clients who have the potential to have a big impact, but they hold themselves back.
It's who am I? I'm going to get judged. I'm going to be rejected. All of that kind of stuff going on in the back of their minds, and it's about massively working on mindset as much as business.
So then you're working on you've got self-work to do as well as other stuff to make that impact.
I think if you get those things right that you just talked about, the personality and the confidence, then you're not afraid to put out challenging messages. You're not afraid to say, hey, you know, I only want to appeal to 20% of the market who want to buy deluxe bespoke garden furniture, and you lot who are looking for a cheap plastic patio bench, you know, do one.
and that's about being brave, isn't it? Because actually I don't think until you do it, it's always going to be scary. And only at the point of actually taking that leap do you then feel better about it, because you have to, because you've done it, it's out there.
You'll see that nothing major happened and it's all okay, and then you can take that next step.
Or it goes badly wrong, as happens, and it's a huge great thing, but then there's massive publicity out of it and you end up doing better from it in any way. Or it goes brilliantly, or nothing happens, in which case you've still not lost anything anyway. So but self-work, I think, is a big aspect to that, because people often are not helping people because they're holding themselves back.
And it's better to polarise and split the market than have no impact at all. And I think that's one thing that people have to realise is if you're going to go out there and have impact, if you're going to have impact, then people are going to be like, oh, that Kieran, he's way too showy and too confident, or I don't like him, or that Joe Gregory, or I don't like his books, you know, they're all about marketing and business, and you know, always going to get that,
Any comedians you think of? I love Billy Connolly, I think he's hilarious. Some people hate him. Lee Evans.
Billy Connolly? What's this, 1979?
I'm old school.
Russ Abbott?
Letterkenny really wasn't as good, was it?
Timmy Mallet all the way.
All the greats.
But that's anything you think of. We often get bogged down in business stuff, but actually if you think of anyone who is out there doing anything is in business in some way or another. If you're a comedian, then you are the business and you're selling yourself. And comedians are is it Roy Chubby Brown? Very controversial. There's quite a few comedians who are quite mainstream. Michael McIntyre appeals to quite a number of people, but there are some people. Exactly. But then other people love him. But then there are other people who are very controversial, but they have a very strong following, who will always love them, die-hard fans, and then but they might not appeal to others. It's the same with food. Some people love something, some people don't like it. Parma violets. I put a post out the other day, someone shared a thing about there being Parma violet ice cream, and I went, oh my god, it's like hell. I can't imagine anything worse, it's just be vile.
I remember it.
But I remember it. My mum, I said, but I know someone who'd love this. My mum loves them. She loves rose, chocolates, violet. Oh my goodness, it's like eating soap, it's disgusting. But she loves it. She's like, oh, lovely, I love these. And there are always loads left because nobody likes them apart from me. But on the post, the comments, there was no one that said, I might like to try it. It was either like vomiting fake gifts, and oh my god, that's disgusting, or vile, or oh wow, that looks like heaven. I would absolutely love that. It was polarised, there was nothing in the middle.
So what do they say? They say that it's not about actually appealing to everybody. If you can have 600, is that the number? I think you told me this, Sophie. If you can have 600 raving fans, I hate that word, raving fans. If you can have 600 fans, raving fans who buy everything that you do, then that's a brilliant business.
Especially if that's all you need financially to be happy.
600 fans. So if you can find 600 people who are crazy enough or lovable enough to
crazy enough to enjoy what we do.
Well, yeah. So
please like me.
You've got to stand out.
www.
But that is impact. You've created a real. I hate the word tribe. You've created a cult. If you've got a small,
Cult.
following,
I love that.
you've got
I
your,
hate the
your
word
kind of
tribe. Let's go
raving
for
cultists.
cult.
One minute
Yeah.
she was sending me advice on how to boost my website, and she was demanding a suicide pact at the new moon.
That would be one of the testimonials on the sales page.
Really powerful marketer. She's awesome. You've got to go with her. She's amazing. She's creating real impact.
I would just say I've got a little kind of just a memory aid that I always help people when they're trying to stand out and be a bit different. It's usually with books, so it's like, you know, what's out there already, what's everybody else doing and saying, and then take one of three positions. So have an attitude towards that. You can be as well and just join in with the gang, say, yeah, I do that too, and that will get you some kind of following, and some people want that. Like the plastic garden furniture, there's a market for that. You could just do it with a better service. Then there's the alternative. It's like, yeah, well, what they're doing is cool, but what I'm doing is cool because I do it this way, and it may not have worked for you. So you can take an alternative kind of attitude to the, I don't want to use paradigm, I hate that word, but you know, the kind of common agreements about what's going on in the industry.
Gestalt.
Yeah,
The
that's a better word.
zeitgeist.
Yeah. Or you can go full on against it and become an antagonist. And you know, they're 3A, so it's as well alternative or antagonist, and the antagonist position, if you're willing to do it, that will divide people.
Oh, that's
But
also,
where the real impact is.
that's also where
Yeah,
where you get the fastest success. But it's like the dark side, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's
So the dark
scariest.
side of
Yeah.
marketing, yeah.
And
The
not everybody
the Darth
wants that.
Vader approach.
Yeah.
Is the dark side easier? It's quicker, more seductive. But if you court controversy, I believe the phrase is, if you dance with the devil, you get pricked by the horns.
Yeah.
Isn't that the phrase?
I don't know.
Or sow the wind, reap the whirlwind. Yeah, if you go around taking the antagonistic position, it's a lot of fun and it's a lot of good stuff. But there's people out there who've like been making plastic furniture for, you know, God knows how long, and they love their plastic furniture because they're in business doing what they love. And then you come along saying, burn on plastic furniture! We're going to build a giant man out of plastic furniture and douse him with petrol and burn him! My publicity stunt. Then people are going to get upset. And when you upset people and you hit them where they hurt, well, in doing what they love, then they're going to come back.
You get a reaction.
They're going to come
That's
back.
why
to
you
and
get such
can't.
massive reactions, don't you?
And you can't control that
Anything.
reaction. You can't control that reaction. And if you're going to, you know, if you're going to like engage with an established industry, then there will be like a backlash. And if you can handle that backlash,
Yeah,
You've
it's
always
not the
got to
position for everybody
Yeah.
at all.
It's like
Yeah.
getting on a bull, isn't it? In
Yeah.
the cowboy.
that's a hell of a
But
lot of
actually
fun.
getting on
yeah.
it, ready to go, you've got to actually have some real nerves.
Take on the world.
Yeah, hold on.
I'll hold my hand
Without
up
making
here.
the wrong
So I've
impacts.
advised many other people to do that position.
But
I've
never
never done it myself. I'm kind of as well, maybe a bit alternative.
Scary.
I'm like, yeah, come on, get on.
But to be fair to you, Joe,
That's
it's
what
quite.
you do. It's
quite-
like in the gladiatorial ring, you just go, go on,
Yeah,
beat
I'm a
him up.
cheerleader, I've got the pom-poms, get him, tell him.
So to be fair, it's quite difficult within your realm as a publisher to do that.
Yeah.
It's quite difficult to do that. You're always like promoting the people who the
But
personalities
that's
who
making
do
a
that.
choice though, isn't it? You've always got a choice, and I think we often feel we haven't, but we always have a choice as to what we do. And if we're honest with ourselves, we actually would realise that we are not making brave decisions probably 90% of the time. And for some people 100% of the time, but it's through those brave decisions that we have growth and development. Growing pains is what I call them. Whenever there's growing pains, fear, there's something that is hurting you, impacting you in some way, whether that be the fear or nerves or actual physical pain. If you're getting fit for something, if you're going to run a marathon, you've got to do the training, you've got to go through that pain to get the results at the end of it, haven't you? So I guess that's with making a bigger impact, you've got to do...
the phrase of feel the fear and do it anyway, even though it's so overused, it's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it is going to give you that growth, personal growth.
And you do have to kind of go, I'm going to go for it. Let's just go.
Isn't it? It's
Yeah.
something to do with the zoo race. It's about having 10 seconds of courage or something. You only need 10 seconds of insane courage.
That's probably
We built a
quite
zoo,
true.
or who built a zoo, or we bought a zoo, or something like that.
Oh, I
We
think that
built
was
a
it
zoo.
called, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it, isn't it? We
Yeah.
built a zoo, got there in the end. Yeah. Just
Everything
10 seconds of insane courage and you're okay.
Isn't it though, actually? If you think about some of the times that you've had best growth or most important things happen in your business have been the times where it's been scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have to act without thinking.
Yeah. Don't analyse.
I kind of go to a certain point of going, yeah, I think it's probably the right thing to do, and then just go, right, I'm going to do it now before I lose.
Change your mind.
Yeah, before I lose the will and the bulge to go and do it.
The impact.
But I think that's the thing, in business you have to be brave, don't you? And if you're not going to be, you're not going to get noticed. You have to shout out about your business.
Or you become a very skillful manipulator of somebody else that can be brave in the limelight for you. That's been my strategy. I'm not going to deny it. I find somebody else to take the flak.
Joe Niccolo Machiavelli Gregory.
The strings.
You're like, have you seen Ellen with the horror house? When she sends her oh my goodness me, I'll show it to you afterwards. But she sends the kind of the assistant stage guy around this woman that he's hiding behind her, pushing her with all these zombies coming behind her, and she's going, "Why are you pushing me?" He goes, "I'm not. I'm trying to protect you." He just